Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Legends of the Wind podcast. I'm your host, Jurri Schenck. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to have a time of powerful creativity and the prophetic being merged together into a great storytelling experience with my guest, Kelley Arnold. He's going to be joining us shortly, so it's going to be a great time of encouragement and revelation and discovery with him. Now, for those of you who are new, who are still checking us out, I'm Jurri Schenck. I have a prophetic gift, but I use it in a different way. If you are familiar with prophecy and the prophetic gift in ministry settings, you probably understand what a prophetic word is. It's kind of like a conversation of a direct language where God is speaking something encouraging and strengthening to a person, but that's contained with revelation from heaven. And they may have words of knowledge, which means information that only God could know, or words of wisdom, where it's speaking about counsel or the future and things like that. And God speaks in promised form. And it's kind of like right now, it's like a conversation. But a prophetic story is something God is emerging new with us here at Legends of the Wind. For example, some people may think, oh, this is woo-woo, and I don't understand what this is. I'd like to frame it this way, is that God is a great storyteller. And Jesus told parables in the Bible. He told stories. And these are stories that have truth and revelation from heaven in them. Some people may get bent out of shape that maybe a movie, like let's say the movie that came out recently is Sketch. And it's made by Angel Studios. And I took my daughter to it. And some people who got a religious spirit got bent out of shape about it because the movie never mentioned God. But the thing is, that movie was able to communicate a family dealing with incredible grief with the loss of a mother and a wife. And that process of restoration went throughout the story. But it had total biblical themes in it. This was an example of a story talking about spiritual ideas in a covert way. So at Legends the Wind, we use prophetic stories that have hidden treasures, that have symbols and ideas in them that are meant to be discovered. And they can also produce healing and revelation about your identity and your destiny. So it's really powerful what a story can do. A prophetic word is very valuable. I have received many of them. I hold on to God's promises in my life about them. But stories also are a different vehicle. It's just another language. And so when Jesus told parables, he was using that to hide the treasure of the truth for you to discover. That's why when you have a pastor doing a sermon about parables, you have to unpack them. You have to discover and think mythically of what the meanings and the ideas in them are. And that's when you get the application for what they are for your life. For example, the parable of the sower has the different kinds of soil. It doesn't quote scripture previously in the Old Testament. It doesn't say God, but it totally talks about spiritual principles about how the condition of your heart is. And we learn that through a story. So here at Legends of the Wind, we use prophetic stories to help encourage people too. Hope that explanation kind of keeps it current for you. I'm excited for this show. And also, I want to kind of give a little bit of background about myself. I have my master's from film school at USC in Los Angeles, and I'm a filmmaker. I do writing, I do directing, editing, sound, all the major departments. And I love creativity. Also, I'm a prophetic person, and I can understand and hear God's voice. And so when I was, after graduating from USC, I got to be part of children's ministry at a church in Northridge, California, where I was working with kids. And that's when God told me that prophecy would change. It would be no longer just a direct word, but a telling of a story that would reveal their hearts and encourage them. And so out of that, it became Legends of the Wind. And then I met my wife, Alicia, at a church called Expression 58. So I was giving stories to children and adults, and it was a huge hit. So God was training me in this new method of communicating in the prophetic voice. So tonight we're going to have a great time. I hope this little brief introduction explains a little bit about myself to kind of give you a little bit of background. Just another caveat. Part of my training, I never went to a specific school, and I never met Kim Clement in person, but I went to Prophet Kim's meetings all the time while I was in Los Angeles. and I saw him model the prophetic and creativity and the arts through his worship music and his piano and his leading his band. It's a powerful time. And so one evening, I had a dream, and Kim Clement came to me in the dream and opened up my eyes and ears in that dream to do the prophetic the way I do today. So I am indebted to heaven for that impartation and for that revelation. But my whole heart, my whole idea is to help others have that similar function as well. You have the ability to hear God's voice. You can see in the spirit too. And you can also be creative. You don't have to just give a prophetic word. It's possible for you to engage in the creativity of heaven and also do prophetic story or prophetic arts of any kind. It could be a painting, music, acting, sculpture, photography, anything that's creative. Idea is that you go up into heaven and you bring it down and you show people the hidden treasures of heaven. Okay? Cool. Well, I want to bring in my guest. His name is Kelley Arnold. Just a second. Hello, Kelley. How are you?
Good, Jurri. How are you?
Good. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you for requesting a prophetic story. Hey, so for those of you who are in the chat that want to say hi to Kelley, go ahead and do so. Let people know who you are and where you're from. The chat is a crucial part of this conversation. So, Kelley, would you please introduce yourself and let people know a little bit about who you are and what you're all about?
Okay, well, my name is Kelley Arnold. I live in Great Falls, Montana. I've been married to the same woman for 44 years. We have 4 children and 4 grandchildren. I'm about ready to retire, 1 more year to go. We're very involved in our church and in outreach. We just got back from a trip to Mexico, a scouting trip for missions. And we do an outreach in Gibson Park every Monday with a group called Candra All for Him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we are very focused on the things of heaven.
Very good. Very good. So, how did you find out about Legends of the Wind? And what was the thing that motivated you to get a prophetic story?
Um, I think I heard Candra talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were on and we saw you do a prophetic story for somebody. I
Okay.
can't remember who, but Joy and I both signed up at the same time, but mine
Mm-hmm.
didn't go through.
Right.
So through the confusion, I was like, so then I signed up again. And after I watched Joy's, I was like, come on, hurry up. I want to hear my story. You know? So it's kind of been, because I'm excited about it.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I like to hear from God. I like to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about it.
Good. Well, I want to honor that. Thank you. Yeah, I don't understand what happened to the technical thing about your sign up. I do know that we just changed a few weeks ago our registration system. So I will actually, when we're done talking about your story, I'll show the audience our website and how to register to get your own prophetic story. So stay tuned for that. But I'm glad it worked out. Joy Renee, your wife, was a treat to give her prophetic story. Since you saw her prophetic story, what can you give me and the audience a little bit of feedback about what you and her experienced or being part of that show?
Um, I was very amazed at how much you had insight into her life because you'd never met her. You've never met me. And for the way that the story that you wrote paralleled things in her life. And it was very encouraging.
Hmm.
At times, it was very thought provoking. It was, I was amazed. I
Wow.
really was. I was amazed because it was almost like you've known us for years.
Wow. Praise God. Thank you. Well, it's an honor. I mean, I've said this in other shows. It's a huge risk that I take every time. I wrote your story last night. I don't know anything about you other than that you're Joy's husband. I, I I don't research you. I didn't interview you. I didn't look you up or anything. I just went and I said, God, what is his story? And that's the risk I take. And then here it is, live yet again. to bless you in this vulnerable time. For me too, right? So
Oh yes.
thank you for taking me on as well. I appreciate it. So Kelley, what I'd like to do for you and also for the audience is to kind of help people understand how to receive a prophetic story. So first of all, a prophetic story is meant to be understood symbolically, not literally. A story may have some sort of realism to it, but that doesn't mean it's not that it is meant to be understood symbolically. It's kind of like dream language or dream interpretation, where you look for the function of something, not the form. And also, Kelley, your story that I'm going to give you is a revelation. And so I'm going to read it to you, and the idea is for you to see it and experience it and feel it. But then time interpretation is when we unpack and look for the hidden treasures in it. And then the goal is for the application. Like, what is it that Jesus wants you to do to take action in your story, from your story? I'm a writer, a storyteller, and it's really important for the characters to be active in the story. They need to be making choices that causes other action. If we're passive in a story and the character's boring, God calls us to be active heroes of our story, partnering with God, co-creating, co-laboring with Him, and doing the right thing and going forward, taking risks. So that's kind of like my model that I operate by, and I want to encourage you with that. Okay?
Okay.
And I forgot to prep you, but do you happen to know what time it is?
It's story
Oh,
time.
you do know it. Very good. Awesome. Very good. Oh, and one other thing I need to clarify. You have a choice, Kelley. You can say, yes, I received this prophetic story, or no, I do not. Or you may need time to process it and chew on and think about it. But I also want you to know I'll never want to impose upon you anything on this. This is something as a gift from me to you to hand and bless you with. I want to encourage you. Okay?
Okay. Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Story time. The key. There are vast mysteries in the universe, some of which no one has solved. Some people claim to be experts and have gained knowledge through education, experience, and even sheer luck. Kelley, however, was one with a humble heart that found the simple things in life provided some of the most wisdom. Kelley was the key to many hearts. One day, Kelley found himself with his morning breakfast and coffee, trying to figure out the newspaper's puzzle section. The crossword was difficult, and this aggravated Kelley completely. He saw this as a personal competition, and even a time crunch where he must finish the puzzle before the coffee was gone and the breakfast eaten. What does that mean? Asked Kelley to himself. All of his knowledge and understanding of words, letters, and configurations brought him to a complete stop. He didn't want to ask his wife for help because that would reveal his weakness. But Kelley stared at a 7-letter space with a word that starts with I. The clue was, I announce a holy man. Kelley swore the answer should be John the Baptist, but that was too many letters and starts with J. The stumped solver of puzzles gave up and drank the rest of his coffee, finished the crust of toast, and put his dishes in the sink. He vowed to solve the puzzle, but later. Kelley pulled the cord of his lawnmower and started cutting the grass. As he went back and forth pushing the device, he pondered his next project. He needed a new sprinkler system that would no longer keep breaking down. The control box for his sprinklers kept getting shorted out, and he didn't know what the source of the problem was. Was it the device's electronics or something else? He tried and even got help, but there was no solution. All the experimenting and time spent wore on his nerves. For Kelley, it seems there was project after project and problem after problem. His wife knew he was a talented handyman, but she could see him growing in frustration. Kelley couldn't catch a break. Kelley dumped the lawn clippings in the big waste bucket and wiped his brow from the sun's heat and his hard work. His memory returned to the crossword puzzle clue. I announce a holy man. Kelley huffed in frustration and went inside. He grabbed the landline phone and called the hardware store to ask about a different brand of sprinkler system. To his surprise, the manager said a new competitor brand had just come in and it was on sale. This elated Kelley, and he rushed to the store. Kelley put on his reading glasses and carefully looked over the box, parts, and instructions. He could see that there was more excellence in it than his current defunct system. Convinced, he bought the new product and confirmed that there was a good return policy on it just in case this one failed too. That weekend, Kelley worked extra hard in the heat. His existing sprinkler heads were compatible with his new competitor brand's computer system. With great skill and wiring mastery, Kelley completed the project by Sunday sunset. The water on the lawn was refreshing. Kelley's sense of accomplishment was profound. His love of an excellent lawn was high in his heart. Kelley was the king of his castle and wanted visitors to enjoy themselves when they stopped by. In fact, it was time for his neighborhood barbecue and family to visit. His sprinkler system was working in style, and Kelley buzzed with excitement over his gas grill, cooking hot dogs, burgers, and chicken. All was well in Kelley's heart. One of Kelley's grandchildren came up to watch him help. She was a little girl of about 6 years old. This beautiful child watched every move Kelley made cooking, from sprinkling spices, adjusting the heat, and flipping the food over to cook to perfection. "Grandpa, can I help you?" asked his granddaughter. Kelley pulled over a wooden chair for her to stand on and had her hold the plate for the finished food. "You're in charge of the burgers, okay? Once we get this plate full, you can give it to Grandma." The little girl felt like she was the most important person in the world, helping her grandfather. Kelley beamed and told her stories about her mother when she was pregnant with her and that she would enter the world. "Destiny, my dear, is written on your heart. You are beautiful with a purpose," declared Kelley. Once dinner was ready and all the family members and guests sat down, Kelley went to the head of the table to make an announcement. "All of you are here not just to eat good cooking or drink fine wine or lemonade, but to celebrate each other as family. Some of you have had true heartaches and pain in the past year, but allow me to remind you of how much you've overcome. I know your journeys and the late night phone calls. There will come solutions and healing. Today we celebrate perseverance in the midst of mystery. Eat up, eat well, and keep your sights on the horizon." Kelley sat down next to his granddaughter as they enjoyed the food. One by one, Kelley's family members came to him and thanked him for his family's leadership. Just like how Kelley managed his manicured lawn and tried to solve puzzles, Kelley was a father figure to many. He looked out at all the people, his family and guests, and saw the fruits of his legacy. Each of them had stories to tell, all with a powerful interaction with Kelley. They recognized him as a mentor and lover of all. After everyone packed up and went home, Kelley and his wife cleaned up the tables and such. He had satisfaction in his heart. As he was picking up the trash, he found the unfinished crossword puzzle and the frustrating clue, "I announce a holy man." Could it be that this puzzle was talking about himself? Thought Kelley. He always wanted to speak into people's lives, to lead them to a more whole place. Even more so, he wanted a legacy. Kelley mused again over the crossword puzzle clue. He mumbled, I announce. I say, man, I'll never get this one figured out. Kelley was about to wad up the newspaper and completely give up. Then it hit him. He said with the gas, Isaiah, that's it. Kelley grabbed his carpenter pencil from his ear and filled in the name Isaiah. After a few more solved clues, Kelley completed the whole crossword puzzle. The problem solver finally succeeded. He saw that the key was in how he spoke. Kelley believed that with a gentle play of words, the clue made sense to him. Isaiah predicted the Messiah, 7 letters starting with I. Kelley was so elated he rushed into the house to tell his wife. This conundrum had him stumped for an entire week. Yet, His wife asked an even deeper question and offered a clue to him. She asked, "You announce a holy man? Hmm. Do you know who you see when you look in the mirror every morning? You solved this puzzle. What about that one?" She pointed to the looking glass that hung in the front of the living room entrance. Kelley saw his reflection and thought deep in his heart. He was a problem solver, a man of excellence and care, a people person, a family man. That was part of his journey. But inside his heart, there was a little orphan boy that started to surface. Kelley replied, "I'll take care of him. He's got what it takes." The man in the mirror finished the cleaning and sat down in his favorite porch chair by himself to look at the sunset. The little boy inside his heart asked the question, "Who will love me? Will you?" Kelley knew he had overcome so much over the years and was a seasoned citizen of the world. But all of his problem solving came down to the revelation that not a man in his 70s need to ask, but the one of the same age as his granddaughter. Could he become a parent to the long-lost child deep inside that suddenly showed itself? Kelley was tired and adjusted the pillows in the chair to make a headrest. He fell asleep as the sprinkler system turned on. The sound became a meditation. In his dreams, he saw all sorts of systems in his life, from the sprinkler system to the political systems to his childhood and his education system, all the way back to his family system. It was like watching a kaleidoscope, shifting and turning with magical shapes and colors reflected in the mirrors. And then it all came into focus as the pieces came together. In the morning light, Kelley stood in a field of tall grass next to a dirt road and saw his father drive up in a classic pickup truck. His father was angry because he lost money gambling and was too drunk to come home on time. He hadn't come back last night and now was sober enough to drive back to a disappointed wife. The little Kelley ran up to his father, wanting to give him a big hug and welcome him home because he missed his daddy. But the father was still upset, smelled of alcohol, and struck Kelley, knocking him to the ground. The little Kelley was heartbroken by this action and wanted to cry, but he immediately buried the emotion deep in his heart. He chose to toughen up and swallow his pain. The father screamed at the little Kelley and said, "You do that again, boy. I will hit you so hard, I will knock you into the future." Kelley vowed to never show affection again to his father, and this declaration did knock Kelley and harm his future. Kelley also vowed to be the best leader possible and not to live the example his father did. But as Kelley dreamed while sitting on the porch, the pain of this little Kelley boy came to the surface. The dream continued with little Kelley crying stuffed tears. And suddenly, a blinding light tore into the scene and separated little Kelley from the image of his abusive father. The light spoke. "I saw what he did to you. I see your hurting heart. I will be your dad today." A bright, glowing hand formed from the beam of light and touched little Kelley's chest and removed a black stone. The glowing hand held open, and the black stone faded away. Once it was gone, the glowing hand placed itself onto little Kelley's chest and flooded the boy's body with light. All the pain and agony from this trauma melted away. The little Kelley stopped crying and smiled as the glowing light in its hand restored everything in that moment. The light zipped away, and little Kelley saw the memory of his broken father fade and ripple as if it were underwater. Kelley opened his eyes to see the sprinkler still watering the lawn. The last light of the sunset barely peeked over the horizon. Kelley gasped as he realized what he had experienced in the dream. All this time he carried this deep pain in his heart, and he didn't know how to solve that problem. But now he found the key. This man, the patriarch of many, truly has a legacy, and yet he learned to be a parent to his own heart today, even in his ripe old age. Kelley felt incredible gratitude and saw that he could touch his own heart even after touching the surrounding people in his family and beyond. Inceptio.
Wow. And I mean, wow.
Okay. Help me
Um,
understand.
yeah. Well, I was writing down as you were talking a whole bunch of words.
Yes, yes,
Uh, humble, you know. Um, I always try to be humble with
yes.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't show off because that's not who I am. Um, the no solution thing, I find if I can't figure something out, I get frustrated. So that's right on the money. Um, the handyman, if somebody needs something, I'm there. So I mean, it's like you took a book of everything that I am and everything that I think, and you wrote the story out of there.
Wow. Like I said,
And
I've never met you until tonight, right?
yeah,
So that's the Holy Spirit helping me.
see, and the grilling. I was at the park tonight grilling, and I look at those people that come to eat as my family.
Ah.
You know, and it's to me, it's just like hey, come get some more to eat. And I joke with me, I'm like, you leave hungry, it's not my fault. Stuff like that.
Wow.
Um, and my purpose in life, I believe, God has put me in the elementary school
Mm-hmm.
to be a father figure to the fatherless.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that God allowed us to do when we went down to Mexico
Mm-hmm.
is I went with our pastor to the youth group, and most of them do not have fathers in the picture
Mm.
because they bailed out. They either come to the United States to make money, or they're in with the cartel to make money, or
Mm-hmm.
wanted a different woman, whatever. They're absent. And I felt God say, give a father's blessing.
Mm.
And so I talked to my pastor about it. He said, well, let's see. So he asked, and she said, okay. So I'm standing up there, and my pastor's standing up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like an eternity, but it was probably only 3 minutes, and nobody's moving. Nobody's doing anything. And I'm like, okay, maybe I missed it, which I would have been okay with. Well, pretty soon, here comes the first girl. And once the first one came up, and you speak a blessing and you apologize, I'm sure you've heard a father's blessing. But
I've heard of the concept, but go ahead.
I say what God tells me to say
Yes.
to
Okay.
to them, and then I ask them to forgive me in place of their
Mm.
father, to
Mm.
try to heal some of the wounds in their hearts. And it was just amazing, God moving, And I kind of look at myself as, growing up in school, I was called stupid a lot. So I kind of look at myself as, oh, nobody wants to hear from me, and whatever, and they want my back, they don't want my brain, sort of thing. And I was just amazed at God moving through me
Mm.
to minister to these people.
Wow.
I haven't been to seminary, I haven't been to college. I'm what you see is what I am.
Yes.
you know and I do keep trying. I'm very perseverant,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm definitely a people person. Being around people, it lights my fire.
That's good.
you know the orphan thing and the
Yes.
drunk father.
Yes.
I was raised in a family of 10,
Okay.
and both of my parents were alcoholics, so they were never there.
Oh.
So basically, what happened was the older ones took care of the younger ones.
Right. Right.
But the interesting thing was, after my mother died first, and
Mm.
then after my father died, I came home and I was just freezing cold, and so I took a bath, and I asked God, I'm like, why didn't He ever play ball with me?
Mm.
And God gave me visions of my father playing ball with me, but I didn't remember it.
Oh wow.
Which really did a lot to help me with my orphan spirit.
Yes. Wow.
Um, and rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom didn't work, so dad worked from 8 to 5. So at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, she would get up out of bed, having recovered from the drunk of the night before, take a bath, get dressed, walk down to the corner because she didn't drive. He'd pick her up and away they'd go to the Eagles Club. And then he would come home because he was a mechanic. He'd clean up and go back up there. So, I mean, basically, we were parentless.
Mm.
Well, then my mom had a stroke.
Oh.
Well, my first off, my dad broke his leg when he was drunk because it was icy and he fell down. And he
Oh,
was
okay.
too stupid to stay down, so he kept breaking it.
Oh
So
God.
he quit drinking at that point because he laid in the hospital for 9 days in the DTs. They couldn't do surgery because he was too hopped up on alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then my mother ended up having a diabetic, almost like a coma.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her sight, but it came back. The doctor told her, "You're a diabetic. If you drink, you'll have a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have a heart attack. You'll go blind. You'll lose a limb." For 2 weeks, she made it. And then on a Saturday night of the third week, she was up at the Eagles drinking, went in the bathroom, couldn't get up off the toilet. She had a stroke. And it was all, and it's like, so one thing that I learned, my wife calls me a dry alcoholic, and I guess that's a correct term because I won't touch it because I have one brother and two sisters that have died of alcoholism,
Mm.
and there's others that drink like a fish, and I just won't touch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and I try to be an example to my brothers and sisters. I work at SAC as an engineer, and my younger brother works at Loy as an engineer. Same hours that I do. It's another elementary school. So I call him and ask him questions, and so we're talking. But my family is like strangers. It's and my mom was very secretive. I found out my older sister had cancer, and she didn't tell us. She recovered from it. But so the orphan thing, there are so many different angles to that.
Sure.
you
Wow.
know, and I kind of feel like I almost did the same thing to my kids because when they were small and growing up, Joy didn't work. So I was working two, 3 jobs to put food on the table,
Right.
but I also took, like, we would clean the church and I would take the kids with me and have them help.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to spend time with me and they got to learn, things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it would have been easier if I had a better job so I could be home more, you
Yeah.
know.
So let me jump in, Kelley. Thank you very much for sharing all those details. I'd like to connect the dots because a lot of that, what you're sharing, is responding to certain parts of the story. Is that correct?
Yes.
And like one thing you talked about, like that you refused to touch the alcohol. That's almost like the part where you made a vow in your story as a child. You made a vow to never be like your father, and that's
Yeah.
completely correct and right on, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then, when you talked about being on the missions trip and you were speaking the Father's blessing to these young little kids, it was kind of like you made your speech at the barbecue in the story. You almost
Yeah.
speaking a blessing to them too. So, and then I didn't know you were grilling earlier tonight, and I didn't know any of these things. So that's huge. And then I didn't know your profession or that you were a handyman, and here you are. You're doing sprinklers and all sorts of things. It's
Right.
fantastic. It's fantastic. So you also said that this is like all the components of your life in one story. Um, so the story has the third act, which is the orphan thing. So can I ask you a question? Like, how are you with that process? Are you really healed up, or are you still getting healed, or like what's the place that you are?
There, most of the time, I'm good,
Mm-hmm.
but every once in a while, it kind of rears its ugly head.
Sure, I understand.
So, and then I just have to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
and Joy has helped me a lot with that, saying, God loves you, you're saved,
Mm-hmm.
I love you. And she's also pointed out, orphan behaviors, like
Mm-hmm.
if we have people over and we're eating, then I will grab more so I have enough,
Ah,
you
the
know,
food, right.
even though there's plenty,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but being raised with 10 of us in the family, if you weren't fast, you were hungry.
You were hungry, right? Wow. See, that's the thing about a family with many siblings. It's a feeding frenzy.
Literally.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So so is there anything else in your before we get to the idea of talking about application? What is there anything else in your story that's resonating about your life or anything specific that you think is important to talk about?
Um, I really just keep going back to the father figure thing.
Okay.
That really resonates with me because the kids at the school, the nice thing about my job is they don't have to give me anything. You've got the principal they have to behave for. You've got the teachers that they have to do their homework for.
Mhm.
You've got the aides that they have to do what the aides say on the playground. I'm
Mhm.
just there. The other day we were at a Dollar Tree and one of the kids from the school came running around the corner. Mr. Kelley, I missed you. And she gave me a hug. She's like a first grader,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and that just melts my heart. I mean, that fills me up so much because these kids just need somebody to be their friend,
Yeah.
that wants nothing from them.
Mm. That's beautiful. I mean, I don't know. Like the story talked about, like you had a 6 year old granddaughter that you were helping
Well,
having her. Go ahead.
we have four grandchildren,
Mhm.
one grandson, three granddaughters.
Mhm.
The youngest is just turned 8,
Okay.
July 28th.
Mhm.
So, and they live in Fargo, so we don't get to see them very much.
Okay.
The others are in town, and we don't see them much either because my son's, the kid's mother is very anti-religion,
Mm.
and so she she didn't allow us to be around the kids.
I see.
Now, when the older girl was about, what was from when she was like 6 months old, we had her for like 2 years because my son was in the academy to become a highway patrolman, and then he was stationed in Conrad. So while he was working, we had her.
Okay.
So we got to spend some time with her, but not the others.
I
Not
see.
really.
And that makes me think about what you said in the story. Where is it? Um, let's see. Solving the puzzle. Destiny, my dear, is written on your heart. You are beautiful with a purpose. And that's what you were speaking to your granddaughter. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, anything else to unpack at all? Any thoughts on anything?
Um, I like the thing where God is my father
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he touched me and I'm filled with light.
Yes.
That really speaks to me
How so?
because,
Go ahead.
because I think I'm very optimistic,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's a gift from God
Mm.
because, a lot of people, they run around, they're all like I'll laugh in the morning. I drive to work and somebody goes past me and they're, meh, 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 meh. I mean, you can just see it all over their face,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
and so I'm like, you're just starting your day and you're already in that mood,
Right.
so, and I'm glad I'm not there. I have,
Mm.
I have my moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had my knee replaced, and that was a little bit depressing because
Mm.
you walk into the hospital and you go out in a wheelchair.
Right. Right.
So it's just kind of, but by and large, you know, I feel pretty optimistic most of the time.
That's good. Yeah. The idea, the black stone. So I'm familiar with that kind of imagery. Um,
right?
I had a time of prayer where I was with Jesus in my special place, if I could put it that way, and he took out of my heart black stones that represented trauma, and he said, "I'll take care of these," and he took them from me. So when I got your story last night, I saw that, as a father wound kind of thing. Obviously, you have both mother and father wounds, but I think the idea is that he took away that black stone, which symbolizes that pain and trauma, and then he healed it.
Replaced it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that that's not meant to only be a singular event or a
right.
singular issue, but as a model for you. And I also would encourage you, if you go through inner healing and deliverance, then when you get healed, people heal others, right? Hurt people, right?
Right.
But healed people can heal others. I think that could be something in your wheelhouse, really. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
So, go
I
ahead.
think we've been through I'm trying to think we've been through several like things with the church,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that. Like Joy went through cleansing streams.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't go through that one, but they had one out at another church in Fairfield that I went through
Okay.
on a weekend sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one thing that's tough though is that, well, you're a guy. It's a lot tougher being a guy than it is being a gal.
Mm.
And I don't say that because I'm a guy. I say that because guys are macho and you know there's nothing wrong, and
Right.
you know
Right.
gals are like, I stubbed my toe. I need 17 people to pray for me, which
Right.
is an oversimplification. It's ridiculous, but
Right.
I mean, it's the way it is. And so as men, I think we tend to be a lot more lonely,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and that makes it a little tough. I mean, I've tried to make friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we've had couples that we've gotten together to play cards with. They've all moved away,
Oh, okay.
things like that.
Yeah. Well, having brothers and guy friends that are relatable, that's a rare thing, right? And also, churches are typically populated by the women, and the ratio of men and women is very different, right? So,
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to have that community as a guy. I get it. I understand completely. And then the healing part, it's like, the you have to put on the tough self, and like, I can't be weak, or like I'm a grown man crying. That's, there's shame involved, right?
yeah.
So um, and unfortunately that will hinder the process of getting restored. But
Unfortunately,
God can bring a guy on a journey and do that. That's kind of like what I like storytelling, because um, doing what I do, it's a kind of a disarming thing, because you're just listening to a story, and then like, oh, that's got me in it, and then like, what's it all about? And then there's that discovery, kind of like the healing in your story, as the discovery in the end. Um, it's good. I have a question. So let's talk about application.
okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of good stuff in your story that you completely identify with, and you see the story of the healing of little Kelley. So, what is your opinion on your application? Like, what do you think God's telling you to do?
Um, I think maybe he's telling me through getting more healing when I need it for myself
Okay,
that I can help others heal from that point.
sure, sure. I think that's the obvious one, isn't it? Like, the healing is a part of it. And I also want to encourage you that the healing part and your desire to be a father figure are directly tied to each other, right? Like,
Right.
for example, when you receive healing from the Father, and where God becomes a father to you, that empowers you to empower others. So that's something that is completely in your desires and
Right.
your interests, which is great. Um, so yeah, I would encourage you to see where things are triggered still in your life, like what kind of stuff sets you off, like a certain environment or someone saying a certain phrase or a circumstance, and then let that be the cookie crumb trail for you to be led by Holy Spirit to deal with things. I actually have resources I can provide you later that deal with inner healing and deliverance. There's a gentleman out of Arizona that I'm connected with named Dr. Scott Bitcon, and he has a powerful and effective ministry for true inner healing. And I've received, not him directly, but I've received coaching from a friend of ours that used his material that truly healed a lot in my heart. And so I'm coming to you, Kelley, from actual experience in this same thing that this story is talking about.
Okay.
Is that,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'd appreciate you giving me, who I can reach out to for resources.
Sure, sure. Yeah, and also I believe I could you could ask Kendra and her people about that too, because the material I have, I am given permission to freely share it with anybody. So that would be something very helpful for a lot of people. I can't say highly enough how wonderful and effective it is. But yeah, let me explain a little bit about that, so if you don't mind. So in your story, you had little Kelley, who was young, who was abused by an alcoholic father. When trauma happens, it's like the soul breaks apart in fragments, and sometimes it becomes a memory that we forget, that we can't, that's hidden, and so sometimes we grow up with multiple traumas, multiple fragments, and it can spill over into any kind of abuse. Like you could be addicted to alcohol yourself or drugs. You could be doing inappropriate things. You could have anger issues. It can manifest in bipolar or schizophrenia. It could be all sorts of things, but it comes down to there's a wounded part in your soul at a certain age where there's an emotion that was latched onto by a demonic entity. And so part of the inner healing is that you say, I command soul and spirit to separate. It means the demonic spirit and the soul separates, and you deal with the emotion. You want to re-trigger yourself, or the person working with you re-triggers you, so you relive that thing in a safe place and let Jesus come. And so that's kind of like what's happening in your stories, that God came and as that blinding light, and the hand came out and healed you. And the thing is, inner healing I just described is that it, and then you tell the enemy to go to the pit of hell. And then that's it. There's the healing. It's actually not complicated. And sometimes we can get offended by its simplicity. And I love what your story starts talking about. At the very beginning, I'm going to read it to you. There are vast mysteries in the universe, some of which no one has solved. Some people claim to be experts and have gained knowledge through education, experience, and even sheer luck. However, Kelley was one of humble heart that found the simple things in life provided some of the most wisdom. He was the key to many hearts. And I think that the key here in your story is not just you as a key, but also the idea of inner healing as a key as well. And that it's simple. And it works too. So I want to put that out there for you.
Okay.
Do you have any
I'm paying
questions or
attention.
comments about that at all before we move on?
Um, I've been through some inner healing,
Okay.
and you know, I know there's more issues.
Okay.
I don't want to walk through life without a limb. You know what I mean?
Right.
In other words,
Right.
I don't want to walk through life crippled by something
Sure.
in my past.
Sure. I understand completely. I think that Jesus is giving you a big hug in this story, and he's like embracing you, It says, I'm going to be able to take care of all of the parts of who you are, Kelley.
Yeah.
It's a
And that gives me
beautiful.
encouragement.
Yeah, and also the fact that there's so many things in your story that are resonate, that actually like touchstones for you in your life. You have the confidence that God's talking to you about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Is there any final thoughts before I ask you a few questions?
No, I think that's it.
That's good. Thank
Yeah.
you. So let me ask you a question. Um, uh, if you were to go up to someone that doesn't know what prophetic storytelling is, how would you describe it to them? And then would you encourage them to get their own prophetic story? Like what would you say about that?
I would probably tell them, number one, I'd say, do you read the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what a parable is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a parable about your life. And it's very encouraging and it's amazing. And I think you should do so. I think you should get it.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. So that helps me. Thank you very much, Kelley, for that endorsement. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you allowed me to be entrusted by God and by you to bless you with this prophetic story tonight. I want my whole heart is to encourage and bring healing for my guests. So thank you. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. And so for those of you in the audience who've seen this, just like we said before, I never met Kelley before until tonight. God has allowed me to operate in this gifting to use a prophetic story to bring revelation and identity and destiny to the people I speak to. But the thing is, this story may not just be for Kelley, it could be for anybody. It could be a universal story as well, that other people can benefit from Kelley's story. And so if you are interested in receiving a prophetic story from me, I'm going to show you our website real quick. So I just want you to know, in this season right now, we are sowing into the people that we're giving stories to. We're doing it out of no cost to them. And we are a ministry. We're a prophetic ministry that celebrates the creative arts. And so in this season, we're wanting just to pour into people and let people know about what we're doing. So let me show you our website real quick. All right. Okay. So this is legendsofthewind.com. And I want to let you see that you can check us out, find out a little bit about us. There's some videos here that are really short that helps you explain what we're doing, like what is prophetic storytelling, how to receive a prophetic story. And there's all sorts of testimonies as well and other questions and answers. And so I kind of explain how we do it because we're pioneering this. And people are not familiar with what we do, and we're trying to educate people. Now, if you want to get your own prophetic story, click that button that says request your story, and you come to this page here, and this is a registration page. Now, on the left here is a video from Dollhouse with Abby. So good. Oh my gosh, that show was off the charts amazing. So I want you to watch that and see how powerful what we do here can be. Now, scroll down and you can select a date and time with me. You'll be live on the show. Also, just so you know, in the middle here, there's a create a custom book with illustration. I want to talk to you about that. That's an artistic thing that we do with my wife, Alicia. And so you can get that before you get a story or afterward as well. And my wife, Alicia, is a prophetic artist. So she does the paintings for book covers. For example, this is our volume 1 book that we've published, and other people have commissioned Alicia to do a story, or excuse me, a prophetic book cover for their story. All sorts of different styles depending on the story and the person, and it's always been so good, so good. And so these are physical keepsakes for you to have. And also, if you are interested in this and you want to try to get a discount, put in the comments below the word request. If you put the word request in the comments, we'll reach out to you with an email and you'll get a special discount code for that as well. So, yeah, let me see here. What are we doing? So, yeah, let me bring back Kelley. So, that's some things that we can do here. We also have that book example, volume one. It's an also print. It's also an audio book. There's over 3.5 hours of prophetic storytelling with music and sound design. It's so good, super immersive. So check it out on our website and look it over. So thank you, Kelley, very much for being my guest tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So can you explain to the audience, like, what did you experience tonight? Like, what did you feel?
Well, when we first started out, I felt nervous
Mm-hmm.
because there's always stuff that you don't want people to know. You know, um, but then as it went on, it went from nervous to just like, wow, that's right on, that's right on, that's right on, to amazement and then to disbelief. Like,
Whoa.
okay, who have you been talking to? You know, you know,
Wow.
and I mean disbelief. Not that I don't believe the story, disbelief that you were so right on.
Wow. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Yeah. The thing is, I all the glory can go to Jesus because He's the one that knows you. I'm just the the creative conduit, if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
also, I found that because I chose over and over to write a story blind with my guests, that I took that huge risk, and I keep taking that risk. God is faithful to you as the guest and to me because He's the one showing up for my guests, really. And, I get nervous too. I mean, you're nervous, I'm nervous. I mean, I'm like thinking, well, I don't know how this story will work with Kelley tonight. And that's often our conversation with Alicia. Like, I'll read the story, like, that's fun, but what's it going to mean for the person, right? So
right.
I want to thank you for recognizing and honoring my gift, and also I just want to be a gift to you and to the people. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Cool. Well, I also want you to know, don't hang up, Kelley. But we're gonna wrap
Oh
up the
no,
show. Uh, um, we'll get you on the after bit here. But for those of you who are still watching, thank you so much for participating in tonight's show. It's an honor. We are a nonprofit prophetic ministry, and if you see what we're doing as something of value to God's kingdom, and you believe that we are worthwhile, please consider sowing into us financially. And we want to give that opportunity for an offering right now. We are pursuing God with what we're doing. We have a big vision. We do Legends of the Wind and using prophetic story for our gifts and paintings for the kingdom. But we also have a calling to Hollywood and a calling to the creative arts. And so we are believing for something for Jesus to show up and change the world. And like Kelley here, he wants to be a father to the people and the children in his life. I also carry that same passion. I want to use storytelling as a father to the people I minister to through the storytelling. And I want to do that for the culture. So if you think that's worthwhile, please consider giving financially. I'll show you 1 minute little video or a little blurb for us, and so you can sow. And also, it's a link in the description below as well. So 1 minute, we'll be right back. we're back. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contribution to what we're doing. I pray that we're a blessing to everybody that we reach out to. So thank you for sewing into us. Kelley, this has been actually a really good time, a conversation. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that the story hit home so well for you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy too.
Cool. Very good. Well, everybody, that's up for the show tonight. Thank you for watching. And oh, by the way, we have openings in this month of August in our schedule. So if you want to get a prophetic story, we have availability. So check us out on our website, legendsofthewind.com, and we'll see you soon. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night. See you soon. Bye.